So you're probably sitting there and you are looking for a personal loan, but you have no steady income. So how do you actually get it? I mean, to this conversation, I want to share with you a few strategies that we have learned over the last 35 years that will help you also get a large personal loan without steady income. Let me give you an overview first before we get into the nitty gritty here. So when we talk about if you are looking for a personal loan with no steady income, there are three important factors I want you to pay attention to. Okay, there are important factors for getting approved for any loan for that matter. So your credit score is important, boss. So if you listen to me right now, yes, you have no steady income, but how strong is your FICO score? You got to have a strong FICO score, boss. Okay, make sure that you actually get that done. This is important. So I want you to write down right now, what is your FICO score? Number one. Now, number two, what is your income? Yeah, I know you said, well, I don't have a steady income. I don't have steady income. Okay, but how much you have? Talk to me about the money part of things. How much are you making right now? How much did you make last year when you filed your tax returns? That number, you got to put it down. I want you to put that number down right now. The third number I need from you is your DTI ratio. So basically, you don't have steady income. That's true. Okay, but what about your credit cards? Your lines? Do you have some open credit card accounts, open balances on those credit cards? If yes, what is your DTI? What is the outstanding balance on those credit cards? Get your DTI. Hopefully, your DTI is less than 33 to 36%. Okay, so those are the three important those are the three important factors that you need to pay attention to before getting a personal loan, either with no steady income or with steady income. One thing I want to say, and the Los Angeles Times, the LA Times said this recently. They said that there was an article, a very well written article, that said that when it comes to personal loans with no steady income or with unemployment attached to it, lenders are now looking for what they call the resume of the applicants. In other words, what kind of do you have potential? They have something called employability potential. In other words, if you have a college degree but you're currently not working or currently don't have steady income, lenders see potential. They see that, okay, here is someone who has potential to get a job real soon. Okay, and so you can get approved for a personal loan even if you're unemployed, as long as you have some cash sitting. If you have some cash reserves and you have a good FICO score, you can certainly get a personal loan. That's not a problem. Now, I want to talk to you about ways to qualify for a personal loan while unemployed. Okay. By the way, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. And so if you are unemployed, so into this conversation, what I'm doing is I'm lumping, quote unquote, lumping in the same bag folks who are unemployed, folks who have no steady income. So you're having gigs, you have side gigs, you're making money here and there. And the thing is, if you want to have a large personal loan, you want to qualify for a large personal loan while unemployed, what do you do, boss? Well, the thing is, there are ways to qualify. Are you getting Social Security? Because the thing is, because you're not employed doesn't mean that you're not making money, right? Because income must come from somewhere. Otherwise, you wouldn't be living anyway in the first place, and you would not be listening to me right now anyway. Okay, so Social Security. So if you're old enough to file for retirement income or have a permanent disability, lenders will actually consider your Social Security. Sorry about that. They will consider your Social Security as personal income to qualify you for a personal loan. Okay, so this is important. I want you to think about that. And as a matter of fact, Social Security is so important that CNBC, the channel, actually came out with a report not long ago that said that a lot of lenders are considering Social Security and pension amounts as part of the income when evaluating, okay, the loan application of folks who are above 50 years of age. This is important. Are you getting unemployment benefits, boss? Are you getting right now unemployment benefits? If yes, those could qualify also as sources of income. Are you getting alimony or child support? Okay, this is another type of source of income. And what about spouse's income? Okay, if you're not working right now, but your spouse is working, this could be good also. Pension, retirement income, recurrent interest. When we talk about income in general, you have to really expand your horizons when it comes to income. If you're getting recurring interest, if you're getting rental income, if you're getting royalties, if you have some kind of foster care and adoption subsidies, those could qualify. All of them could qualify you if you are looking for a large personal loan. So what I'm trying to say here is what? Bottom line, there is a large constellation of income sources that lenders are willing to consider when evaluating the application of someone who is looking for a large personal loan that has no steady income. So don't let the words steady income sort of discourage you from applying for a large personal loan. Let's just talk about where to find personal loans while you're unemployed or you don't have steady income. Just want to quickly remind everybody of today's topic, okay? Grandpa, grandma, mom, dad, we're just having a quick convo here about personal loans with no steady income. How do you get it? How do you get a large amount? Okay, so there are places where you can get your personal loan without having steady income. So first you have banks and credit unions. I want you to start there. Okay, uncle, and if you currently have an account at your bank or a credit union, please start there. They know you already. They've seen your transaction. They know you're making money, and you're making legit money. I hope so, at least. They know that you're not working, but at least cash is coming every now and then. So that's good. That's kind of cool. That's what they need anyway. Okay, and so that's what you want. You really need to get that really fully secured. So start there. Start at your bank or credit union. And if it doesn't work, then go to an online lender. So an online lender is, I'm talking about platforms such as Avon, right? You have Lending Tree, you have Upstart, you have Upgrade. So those are players that there are new players, and they'll consider you. They'll look at a litany of factors, not just your unemployment. They look at a lot of things. As a matter of fact, they are part of the new institutions, the new lenders who are looking at your resume, for example. Okay. Also, you can try loan aggregators like Credible, for example, to sort of help you out. The good thing about those loan aggregators is that you can be pre-qualified for a loan even before applying, so that at least you know how much you can actually expect if you were to apply for real. Okay, and so those are the three areas, and those are the three areas that the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB, the regulators of banks and credit unions. That's what this is a federal agency, a government agency. So the CFPB recommends those three areas: banks and credit unions, online lenders, and loan aggregators. So, but now if you want to try maybe the payday lenders and all those and other alternative lenders, it's a little murky. So that sector is a little murky. We would not advise you to go there. But hey, listen, if you're quote unquote desperate for money, you need to get your cash, then you can try those, but do not do them. Okay. Money, boss. Where do you think you can get your next personal loan with no steady income? I've given you three: banks and credit unions, online lenders, loan aggregators. Where do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself having the highest probability of loan approval? The big question really is, should you get a personal loan while unemployed or while you are in a situation where you have no steady income? This is a big question, right? This is the $1 million question that you have to ask. I don't have to answer for you, but there are a few things. I want to give you a few pointers to help you through the analysis, so you have a clear idea what you're getting yourself into, because it's important. Because once you start thinking about, well, should I get a loan? Should I get it really depends. The question is, what are you going to use the cash for? Is it for consumption, like just like go on vacation, or is it for something important? Is it for education? Is it for a home renovation? Is it for an emergency? Because the whole thing here is that there could be other ways to get that cash without going through a personal loan. Because the whole thing is, when you apply for a personal loan, you're going to have your credit score hard pulled, right? You're getting a hard pull, and you have other things also. So the first thing is, ideally, you don't want to apply for a personal loan when you are unemployed, or let's say when you have no steady income. Okay, this should not be the right time for you to apply. However, I'm not in your life. You probably know what's going on in your life right now. So if you have to actually get a loan, make sure that you have thought about a repayment strategy. In other words, would you generate enough revenue to repay the loan? Because getting a loan is quote unquote relatively easy. You do your thing. You make sure you have a high FICO score. You can convince the lender, hey, listen, I need 10 grand. I need 15 grand. Okay, they'll give it to you. The question is, are you in a position to repay the loan? This is actually the most important question. So, whether or not you should get a loan depends on the repayment strategy. Your plan to generate more revenue in the future. Maybe get a full-time job. Maybe get a full-time job so you can have steady income. You need at some point steady income anyway, because those loan payments, they are steady. Boy, they're steady. They're not every month on the same date, you have to make them. You have to make those payments, right? So this is important, okay? Now, so think about what you need the money for, and think about how much you will need to repay the loan every single month. Okay, and think about your strategy to get more revenue. So big decision time, boss. So I've given you a few criteria when it comes to evaluating your ability to get a loan. My question to you is, how much do you need? I want you to write down how much you need. Number two, based on the amount you need and the payments, the monthly payment that could come out of that, are you in a position right now, not in the future, right now, to afford those monthly payments? So if you're telling me I want 10 grand, okay, but the monthly payment will come to $200 or $250, are you in a position right now to afford that $250? I want to talk to you now about how do you actually get a loan with low income. Okay. By the way, I just want to quickly remind you to this topic. We're having a short convo about personal loan, no income, or steady income, or low income. Okay. How do you get it? A large, I'm not talking about a small ass loan. We're having a conversation here about a large loan amount, 5 digits. Okay. Now the advice I'm giving you can apply. This advice could apply also, can apply also to smaller loan amounts. Okay, so it's important that if you are looking for a loan with low income, no income, steady income, shop around and compare lenders. It's important. You got to shop around. You have to constantly shop around to make sure you're getting the best deal, and also increase your chances of getting getting approved anyway in the first place. Okay, and once you're approved, then you get approved with the best rates and terms and all that kind of stuff. And you need to pick the loan option that you like the most. This is where I was just talking to you earlier when I said you want to actually go for the pre-qualification route, right? The pre-qual route. So you get your soft pull, and you are preserving your FICO score. So when you get that soft pull route, that's kind of cool because you can try many loans, right? You don't have to limit yourself to 1 or 2 loans because, hey, listen, you are doing soft pull, so you can actually pre-qualify for 10 loans or 20 loans and see which one actually it's amenable to you. And once you're comfortable with one specific loan, complete the application, okay, and get your funds. Now, don't forget that throughout the process, you will need to provide your financial statements. This is something that we don't see a lot on this show. We don't see a lot sometimes, but I want to say that you need to have your financial statements. You need to have your cash flows. You need to have your cash flow statements. You need to have your income statement, your profit and loss. Simply because you're not generating a steady income doesn't mean that you don't have cash flows, doesn't mean that you don't have income. You do have income. It's just not steady. It's just not a large source of income, but it's still income. Okay. And also make sure that you prepare your balance sheet so you have a clear idea of what your assets and liabilities are. Okay. So money, boss. What are your assets right now? How much you have in assets? Assets means things that you own. And what are your liabilities? Liabilities mean things that you owe. And the reason why I'm asking you to have what you own versus what you owe is because when you subtract your liabilities from your assets, then you get your net worth. and hopefully you currently are you currently are having a positive net worth right now. But if you don't, you can still get your cash anyway from other sources. And I want to give you some alternatives to low income or no steady income loans, okay? And this is one thing I've said before. I just want to reiterate it. So you can get your cash from payday loans. It's just that they have crazily high APRs, and we would really discourage you from doing it unless it's a last resort sort of application, okay? Payday loans should be only a last resort. You can also try secured personal loans. So if you are looking for a large personal loan with no income or steady income, and you can't get an unsecured personal loan, go with a secure personal loan. This is also a great opportunity, okay? And you could also try credit cards. This is why I was just telling you earlier. I said, what do you need the money for? And the thing is, if you have some balance, some limit left on a credit card, maybe it's just a lot better to charge the credit card instead of the other way around, instead of getting a loan. Okay, so this could also be a great opportunity. Okay, and one thing I also want to say here is that you want to check with local credit unions. Sometimes a lot of people believe that only big banks, only big national credit unions are the ones who have the money, or the ones who have who would approve you real fast. That's not always true. No, sometimes you'll be surprised at what you can get from local credit unions. Okay, so talk to your local credit unions. The thing is that credit unions are, in general, they are non-profit organizations, so they sometimes have better offers in terms of APRs, in terms of loan amounts, especially if you have an existing relationship with them when you had a job. See, when times were good, if you build that relationship, when times go bad, not bad, but when times go a little delicate, where you are finding yourself in a situation where you don't have steady income, those credit unions can still take care of you. Okay, it's because of the importance of having a relationship. That's what it is. Okay, so try those areas first. Now, how do you actually get a loan if you are unemployed or self-employed? Because this is an important element also to really understand. If you are unemployed or self-employed, there are a few things. Now, let me first talk about self-employed. So if you are self-employed, lenders will ask you to have your W-2 or pay stubs as a proof of income. Now, if you are self-employed, you don't have that, right? So what do? You have to make sure that you provide your tax returns or bank statements. And you can also provide your 1099. So basically, your clients will send you a 1099, or in the interim, you can actually have you can prepare your financial statements. If you're self-employed, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have QuickBooks. You cannot be a self-employed and not have QuickBooks. You got to have QuickBooks, or Xero, or Wave, or FreshBooks. Okay, you just need to have accounting software that will actually do your accounting, because the lender will want to see that. And so if you are unemployed, you'll need to show some type of regular income, which is what we have been talking about, right? So when we talk about regular type of income, pension, retirement account, government benefits, spousal support, okay, child support, and whatnot. The thing is, some lenders are also willing to extend loans if you can show you'll be starting a job soon. Okay, this is kind of cool. We love that a lot. And I'll give you an example. Upstarts works with borrowers who have a full-time job offer that they'll be starting in the next 6 months. Think about that. This is really good. So if you need a personal loan and are unemployed or self-employed, be sure to consider your options from as many lenders as possible, right? Don't actually just limit yourself to one or two. No, you want to put all your eggs. You want to put all your eggs in different baskets. Really important. That way you'll have an easier time finding lenders who accept non-traditional income, as well as getting a loan that suits your needs. And that's what you need anyway. That's all you need, right? And one thing I also want to say before moving to the next session is that when you're looking for a personal loan with no income or no steady income in general, make sure that you are flexible. You gotta be flexible in terms of the loan amount you're asking for, and also in terms of the loan repayment window that the lender will give you. To close today's conversation, I just want to talk to you about what you can do if you don't qualify for a personal loan with no with no steady income. The thing is, if you don't qualify at all, there are three options. That's what we call the golden trifecta. There are three things you can do to boost your chances of maybe getting the cash that you need, or at least be in a better position next time you apply. Okay. First thing, go back and go back to the drawing board, the sort of proverbial drawing board, and improve your credit score. That's something you got to work on. That's like the basic strategy for you. Okay. Because if you have no steady income, that's really not big of a deal, because it is a temporary thing. Everybody goes through dry spells, so to speak, dry spells in their life. And if you're in a situation right now where you don't have access to a full-time employment, that's still okay, as long as you're looking for work actively. Okay. So improve your credit score. This is something you got to work on. Build your credit. Make sure that you pay your bills on time. Whatever you have to do, keep your credit score high. Number two, you can apply for with a co-signer. So your situation could be worse, quote unquote, worse than your spouse's, for example, or than your friends, or than your aunts, or than your uncles, than your fathers, mothers. My point here is that sometimes it helps to ask for help. It helps to ask for help. And the help when it comes to applying for a personal loan with no income or steady income is just by applying with a cosigner, because the cosigner will actually give you his or her good credit, will lend that to you. Okay, so you can parlay that great credit score into an approved loan application. And also, you can also try local charities or programs. So if you're looking for money like in an emergency, and you can be approved for a loan or credit card and whatnot, please reach out to local charities or programs. There are many organizations across the country that might be able to help you if you are in a financial rough spot. Okay, this is something that again, I just want to say, this thing happens to everybody. So there's no need for you to be ashamed of the situation you're in right now. Not at all. Okay, been there, done that personally. And a lot of our team members have been there, done that also. So it's all about making sure that you are constantly learning from your situation and improving things one day at a time. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I just spoke to you about personal loans with no income, no steady income. How do you get it? So we spoke about the important factors you need to pay attention to, how you can get approved for a personal loan if you're unemployed, ways to qualify for a personal loan while unemployed or without steady income, and with other things that I spoke about. Thank you. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.